Hollywood's sharpest smile just became its loudest alarm. Day 12 of the federal showdown between music mogul Sean Diddy Combs and a cadre of prosecutors. The gallery is bored, shuffling papers, until a side door swings wide, and Eddie Murphy strolls in like midnight thunder. Laughter dies on the spot. Diddy's jaw goes slack. Every reporter jolts upright, sensing a career-ending cyclone has just entered the room. "I've been quiet for decades," Eddie declares while raising his right hand. "But after what I saw, I couldn't stay." What follows is a razor-edged testimony that cracks open an industry engine rumored to run on fear, favors, and forced silence. Eddie's story barrels from a glitzy 2006 comeback party to an invisible blacklist that can turn red-hot talent into a ghost. Stay locked in, because every chilling detail you're about to hear is sworn court testimony or secondhand reporting, and the alleged secret rooms Eddie describes still haunt Hollywood's biggest stages. The jurors lean so far forward their chairs squeak. Eddie sits upright in a charcoal suit, calm, but carrying eyes that have watched dreams traded like poker chips. His opening line slices the hush. "I left Hollywood because I saw too much, and I can't unsee it." Then he swivels to face Diddy, who grimaces behind the defense table. For a moment, the courtroom feels less like a legal arena and more like the set of a thriller we were never meant to screen. Reporters whisper, "Why did the king of comedy vanish from multiplexes right when his star was ascending again?" Eddie nods once, inhaling like a diver about to plunge. "It started," he says, "with one phone call in 2006. Back then, Eddie was in the glow of a professional renaissance. Studios wooed him with 9-figure budgets, and gossip columns buzzed about Oscar pushes. Then, near midnight on a humid August Thursday, a famous producer phoned with what sounded like pure gold, a private networking gathering in the Hollywood Hills. No agenda on paper, just great people, great vibes, and career-changing connections. Phones would be surrendered at the door. That was standard. He'd heard. Curiosity outweighed caution. Eddie accepted. Hours later, his car crawled up a canyon road and stopped before a wrought iron gate taller than a 2-story house. A valet in black scanned Eddie's fingerprint, swiped his phone, and slipped him a single ivory card. "Only one phrase tonight. Be who you really are." Something in that line prickled the back of his neck, but the gate yawned open and curiosity shoved fear aside. Inside, the mansion felt like a cathedral stripped of its warmth. Huge, candlelit, too quiet. Athletes, CEOs, and platinum artists milled about, whispering instead of laughing, eyes darting as if they sensed a hidden lens. Eddie clocked ornate security cameras disguised as wall art, each angled to capture not decor, but faces. The energy was haunted, not sacred, he tells the jury. A chill slides under every suit in the room. Viewers can almost taste the unease. Then, cutting through the hush, comes the velvet baritone of Diddy himself. "Brother, it's about time you came home." Arm draped over Eddie's shoulder, Diddy glides through corridors lined with abstract art. At each doorway, he throws out power stats like baseball cards. "That guy just greenlit a $200 million sci-fi. She owns half the streaming market." They reach a reinforced wooden door. Diddy's grin hardens. "This," he whispers, "is where the choices get made. You want to stay funny and broke, or you want to level up." Eddie peeks through a narrow crack and freezes. A tripod-mounted camera stares back. He's heard rumors of so-called negotiation rooms, but seeing the lens feels like staring into an abyss. Diddy says nothing more, only waits, eyes glinting. Eddie forces a chuckle, plays thirsty, and slips away to grab a drink. But the initiation is only stalling. Minutes later, staff herd select guests, Eddie included, into a back salon draped in crimson velvet. Candles flicker. A long mahogany table gleams under silver trays. At the head of the table stands Diddy, smile wide enough to split stone. On his right sits an up-and-coming action phenom whose name Eddie won't repeat on record, though prosecutors prod that it was Dwayne Johnson. Tonight, Diddy Purrs is about unlocking potential because greatness never comes cheap. A gloved attendant lifts the first tray. Raw monkey brains, pink and glistening. Gasps puncture the dark. Diddy zeroes in on the rock-solid star. Eat that. The role is yours. The room holds its breath. The star hesitates, eyes glassy. Then, quick as ripping off a bandage, he leans in, swallows a chunk, chases it with champagne. Diddy applauds like a proud parent. That's what I'm talking about. The candlelight flashes off Eddie's sweat. He feels nausea coil. But worse than disgust is the dawning realization. Cameras up top just captured a high-profile face in an act he'll never want aired. The ultimate leverage. Eddie angles for an exit, but Diddy intercepts, blocking the doorway. "You ready, preacher boy?" he taunts, voice as soft as it is sinister. Eddie's mouth goes dry. He summons every shred of backbone. "Not my journey," Diddy's smile dies. "Then why are you here?" Silence warps seconds into hours. Finally, Diddy steps aside, murmuring, "If you won't play the game plays you." Eddie bolts for fresh air. A woman in stilettos stops him. Nobody leaves before the experience. He brushes past anyway, heart pounding like timpani. That decision, Eddie tells the jury, detonated his career in slow motion. Within months, the avalanche of scripts, pitches, and studio lunches simply evaporated. No pink slip drama, no scandalous headlines, just endless voicemail. In court, prosecutors brandish an email from a studio exec, not aligned, pass. Eddie translates, "I refused the ritual." That single no slammed every invisible door. Rumors suggest a secret whisper list of industry titans. Oprah, Tyler Perry, Diddy himself, whose names you never criticize if you value your next paycheck. Whether the list is written, tattooed, or purely folklore, Eddie claims its power is absolute. Whisper against it, and you vanish. For years, he tried to out-hustle the shadow. He wrote scripts, pitched animated features, lent his voice to side gigs. Meetings seemed warm until follow-ups died in cyberspace. Hollywood's blacklist doesn't wear a name tag, he tells the court. It wears a smile while it erases you. His savings thinned, depression thickened. Friends stopped returning calls, not out of malice, but fear, Eddie believes, of guilt by association. Meanwhile, Diddy's empire ballooned. Why break silence now? Eddie's voice falters only once, when he recalls watching singer Cassie Ventura's voice tremble on the stand weeks earlier. Then actress-comedian Monique lights up the courtroom with her own blacklist saga. Even a decades-old Prince voice memo surfaces, warning of a system darker than velvet. Eddie's kids, now teens, asked over dinner, "Dad, why'd you quit?" He couldn't lie. Bad timing felt like poison on his tongue. Instead, faith kicked in. If truth costs me the last of my career, he reasoned, let it buy somebody else their freedom. That brings us back to the present, the day Eddie walked through a side door and sent the courtroom into cardiac arrest. His testimony roars with bulletproof calm. The mansion, the cameras, the raw, brain dare, Diddy's frosted glass smile, and the silent blacklist that follows. Defense attorneys sputter about hearsay. The judge warns Eddie against speculation. He replies, steady, "Your Honor, I'm not speculating. I lived it." He names the A-listers rumored to protect Diddy's social vault, labeling it a well-oiled machine hidden beneath charity galas and red carpet flashbulbs. Now, before you exhale, consider the ripples. Eddie doesn't plead for pity. He craves dismantling a matrix that feeds on obedience, not talent. He stares down jurors. Don't protect the pretty lie. Let the truth be ugly. Bloggers line up fresh exposés. Agents dial frantically, wondering which NDA might combust next. Yet Eddie seems lighter, as if the real blacklist was never silence from studios, but the weight on his soul. He ends on a note that hums like electricity. Hollywood doesn't run on talent, it runs on submission. And the minute you stop nodding, you find yourself on the outside looking in. He gestures toward Diddy without ever pointing. That man didn't build an empire. He built a trap. Too many of us mistook the cage for a staircase. So, where does that leave the glitter-packed illusion machine we call showbiz? if Eddie Murphy's sworn tale rings true, the scariest room in Hollywood isn't the casting office. It's the one you can't see, where cameras roll and silence buys careers. Maybe the real crime isn't what happens in the dark, but how many bright lights choose to look away. Now, I want to hear from you. Do you think invisible blacklists actually steer the industry, or is Eddie's saga an outlier fueled by rumor? Drop your thoughts and any other jaw-dropping theories in the comments so we can dig deeper together. If this expose had your pulse racing, slam that like button, hit subscribe, and ring the notification bell. This is Sasha Spills, signing off. See you in the next video.